Have you ever wondered why it feels like joy is slipping through your fingers? Why is it so easy to feel like life is passing you by and you are falling behind? The answer may be closer than you think. And today I'm going to show you how Stoicism can transform that. Get ready for a new way of seeing life. Before moving forward, I ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. We live in an era that constantly pushes us into a state of chronic dissatisfaction. Think about how your routine is bombarded with messages that you need more to be happy. From the moment you wake up and pick up your cell phone, you are already impacted by posts on social media, where everyone's life seems perfect, without flaws, without problems. Professional success, impeccable relationships, ideal health. All of this creates unrealistic expectations. It's as if there is an invisible pressure forcing you to believe that you will only be happy when you achieve these unattainable goals. And this pressure doesn't just come from social media. It's everywhere. Expectations from friends, family, co-workers, and even society in general. From an early age, we are conditioned to think that we always need to be more, do more, have more. What you have achieved never seems to be enough. If you got a good job, now you need the promotion. If you have found a relationship, you need to make it perfect. The bar for success never stops rising, and you end up feeling eternally insufficient. This unbridled race creates a mental trap that happiness is always in the future, in the next goal. This leads you to believe that you will only be truly happy when you achieve something you don't already have. And this mentality generates a constant feeling of emptiness. It seems that the more you chase something, the further away happiness becomes. It frustrates you, demotivates you, and little by little, steals your joy in life. But what if I told you that the Stoics already identified this destructive cycle more than 2,000 years ago? They realized that seeking happiness in external things is a trap. The more we depend on external factors to feel joy, the more trapped we become in a cycle of anxiety and dissatisfaction. Stoicism offers a powerful way out of this prison. It is a philosophy that teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our attitudes, and abandon the obsession with what is beyond our reach. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy with more than 2 millennia of existence, brings a wisdom that, in times like ours, sounds almost like a whisper in the midst of chaos, but which can be a true anchor. Contrary to what modern society pushes us to believe, that happiness is linked to the accumulation of possessions, status, or external approval, the Stoics teach us something radically different. They discovered that true joy, the one that is lasting and profound, is not found in what you achieve or possess, but in something much simpler and more accessible, in the way you see the world and mainly in how you react to it. We live immersed in a culture that values having above being. We are constantly led to believe that joy is always in the next step, buying the dream car, achieving the perfect body, getting the promotion that seems to promise a better life. But what happens when you finally get there? The feeling of accomplishment does not last long, and soon a new desire appears, a new objective that seems to be the real responsible for your happiness. And so the cycle repeats itself, creating a feeling of emptiness and constant dissatisfaction. You always feel like something is missing, as if true joy is always within reach, but never in your hands. The Stoics understood this problem and proposed a solution that, although simple, is profoundly transformative. For them, joy is not in accumulating, but in learning to control what is within our power, our thoughts, our actions, our choices, and at the same time, accepting with serenity what we cannot change. It seems obvious, but think about how often you let yourself be consumed by something that is beyond your control. A cruel word someone said, a colleague's bad mood, or even chaotic traffic that made you late for an important appointment. You lose peace over things that, deep down, you cannot change. And this constant fight against the uncontrollable is what takes away your joy. The more you try to control what is out of your control, the more frustration and anxiety you accumulate. The Stoics offer us a key to escape this mental trap: Stop wasting your energy on what you cannot change. Accept with serenity the circumstances that life presents to you, because what really matters is how you choose to respond to them. This acceptance does not mean resignation. It's not about settling for less, but about recognizing what's in your hands. When you focus on what you can control, your actions, your reactions, your thoughts, you begin to realize that joy comes from within, regardless of what is happening around you. The Stoics teach us that genuine happiness is not something the world gives you, but something you build internally. Imagine the peace you can achieve when you stop fighting the uncontrollable and direct your energy towards what you can truly change. This changes everything. When you master this perspective, you begin to see the world with new eyes, less as a place of challenges and obstacles, and more as an opportunity to strengthen your mind and find joy in every little thing. True freedom and joy come when you free yourself from obsessing over what is beyond your control and learn to live with serenity, regardless of what the world throws your way. Now, close your eyes for a moment and think about your daily routine. Imagine waking up every day with your mind already full of worries. The first thought that arises is not about what you have, but about what you lack. Maybe it's that salary that never seems enough, the relationship that isn't what you would like, the health that isn't the same anymore. This is how many of us live. Instead of seeing what's in front of us, we waste energy focusing on what we don't have, what we can't achieve, what we think we still need to be fully happy. This constant focus on missing creates an emotional black hole. Have you ever noticed how the more you think about what you don't have, the more it feels like your life is lacking? It's a feeling of emptiness that never goes away. This emptiness grows, consumes you, and little by little, steals your peace and the ability to see the good side of life. Maybe you know this feeling like you're constantly running a race, without ever reaching the finish line. But what Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius show us is something surprising. The key to breaking this cycle of dissatisfaction is closer than you think. They discovered that gratitude is the first and most essential step toward true joy. We are not talking about superficial or automatic gratitude, but about a conscious and deep practice of recognizing the value of what is already around you. Think about what would happen if, when you woke up, you deliberately chose to focus on what you already have, instead of starting the day with a mind full of expectations and comparisons. The impact would be transformative. Gratitude is like a mental filter. It adjusts the focus from what is missing to what already exists, bringing to light the richness in your life that often goes unnoticed. By practicing it, your mind begins to reprogram itself. It's as if you're flipping an internal switch that suddenly illuminates everything good that's already in your life. The things you have, the people around you, the opportunities that arise every day. Now, stop and reflect. How many times have you complained about something that could have been a reason for gratitude? The traffic that irritates you, but could be seen as a chance to listen to that podcast you love. Work that stresses you, but gives you the resources to take care of those you love. Even moments of pain and difficulty, which, if looked at from another perspective, can be seen as opportunities for growth and learning. Gratitude, according to the Stoics, has extraordinary power because it changes the way you interact with life. It's not just a mental change, but an emotional and even physical change. Modern studies show that people who practice gratitude regularly are happier, less anxious, and even healthier. This is because, when you start to see life with grateful eyes, small problems lose their power to shake you. But this practice does not happen overnight. Gratitude needs to be cultivated, day after day, with intention. And what many don't realize is that this practice not only changes your perspective, but it also has the power to change your entire life. Imagine the impact on your relationships when you start to value people more than their faults. Think about how your professional journey can transform when you start focusing on the opportunities that work brings you, rather than the difficulties. Gratitude is the secret that Seneca and Marcus Aurelius discovered to escape the cycle of dissatisfaction that consumes so much of our lives. It's the key to a peaceful mind, a purposeful life, and most importantly, genuine joy. You can change your mind. And by changing your mind, you change your life. It all starts with choosing to be grateful for what you already have, here and now. How many times have you found yourself losing nights of sleep, reliving conversations, worries, and scenarios that you can't change? That unexpected criticism someone made, the traffic that made you miss an important appointment, or even a wrong decision you made in the past. These moments get stuck in your mind, consuming you completely. You try in every way to find a solution to something that is actually out of your control. And the result? Anguish, frustration, and often the feeling of impotence. The painful truth is that we spend much of our lives trying to control the uncontrollable. We try to control what people think of us, how they will react, or even the outcomes of situations that are already out of our hands. This creates a cycle of constant suffering because the more we try to force an outcome, the more we realize our lack of power over these things. It's like trying to hold sand in your hands. The more you squeeze, the more it slips between your fingers. The Stoics, however, discovered a liberating truth. True peace and joy can only be achieved when we focus our energy on what is truly within our control. They teach us that wasting our strength on situations we cannot change is the sure path to mental and emotional exhaustion. How many times have you been emotionally exhausted by something that, deep down, was never within your power to resolve? Imagine for a moment, how much peace of mind have you lost trying to control other people's opinions? Trying to make sure you would never be misunderstood, that everyone around you would always like you? The truth is, no matter how hard you try, other people's reactions and thoughts are completely out of your control. People may judge you for things you never said, they may project their own insecurities onto you, and yet you try desperately to please everyone. This only leads to a state of constant stress and frustration. Now think about what your life would be like if you stopped worrying about what you can't change. If you, instead of wasting energy on what is out of your control, focused on what really matters, your actions, your choices, your reaction to situations. This changes everything. By focusing on what you can control, you regain the personal power you had lost. Stop being a victim of circumstances and take control over what is really yours, your attitudes and the way you choose to face challenges. Stoicism invites us to refocus our energy. We cannot change the past, but we can learn from it. We can't control traffic or everyday events, but we can control how we choose to react to them. We have no power over what others think or do, but we have complete power over our own responses. When you accept that many things are out of your control, something curious happens. You free yourself from an emotional burden that was never yours to carry. Imagine the relief of no longer torturing yourself with what others think, or what could have been. When you choose to focus on what you can control, your attitude, your effort, your handling of challenges, you regain not only your peace, but also your joy. Life becomes lighter when you stop fighting the uncontrollable. You realize that there is an immense strength within you, and that strength is in the way you react to the world, not in the world itself. Stoic power lies in accepting that we cannot control everything, and that this is not a weakness, but a liberation. Now, ask yourself, how many times have you lost yourself in internal battles against situations you couldn't change? How many times has your peace been sacrificed because of things that, deep down, were never your responsibility? Stoic wisdom teaches us to prioritize. By focusing on what is within our control, we stop being hostage to external circumstances and finally regain our personal power. This not only brings more serenity to life, but also a deep joy that comes from the freedom of knowing that, in the end, what really matters is within us. Now stop for a moment and reflect. How many times have you felt lost, as if you were just surviving day after day, without a clear meaning? You wake up, follow an almost automatic routine, and at the end of the day, you ask yourself if you are really living the life you want. Time passes, and the feeling of emptiness grows. You feel like a boat adrift, with no clear destination. This lack of direction, this inner emptiness, is something that silently consumes the joy of many people. And the painful truth is that without a purpose, life becomes a monotonous repetition of tasks, without the feeling of moving towards something greater. This is where the Stoics come in with a powerful and transformative lesson: living with purpose. For Stoics, true happiness is not just in fleeting moments of pleasure or success, but in knowing that each day you are moving towards something that truly matters. Deep, lasting joy comes when you define a mission for your life, a purpose that gives meaning to every small action. By being clear about what you want to achieve, your actions stop being random and start to align with that bigger vision. And it is in this alignment that real happiness is born. Now, think about your life. What is your purpose? What makes you get out of bed every day with that feeling that you are heading towards something meaningful? If you don't have this answer, perhaps you are living just reacting to circumstances and not leading your own journey. And that hurts. It hurts to realize that you are moving, but without a clear destination. Each day feels like a repeat of the previous one, and deep down, you feel stagnant. Life, when lived without purpose, is like running on a treadmill, lots of effort, but never moving. The Stoics show us that living with purpose is the antidote to this stagnation. When you define a clear purpose, every challenge, every obstacle becomes an opportunity for growth, rather than a stumbling block. You start to see difficulties as part of your journey towards something greater. And it is this vision that brings new joy into your life. The joy of knowing that even on the hard days, you are moving in the right direction. And this is not a grand or complex purpose. Stoic purpose can be simple but deeply meaningful. Maybe it's being a wiser and more balanced person. Maybe it's serving your community, helping others, or finding inner peace. The important thing is that when you find this purpose, you create an anchor for your life. A solid foundation that gives you meaning and direction, even when the world around you seems chaotic. Without purpose, it's easy to get lost in everyday distractions. You end up worrying too much about small and insignificant things because you don't have a clear vision of what really matters. Purpose gives you this clarity. He is what separates a life full of meaning from a life full of frustrations. With it, every action, no matter how small, gains value. Even the simplest tasks, when aligned with your purpose, become a source of satisfaction. Imagine the peace of knowing that every day you are building something greater. This feeling brings not only joy, but also a deep sense of accomplishment. And when you look back, you can feel proud of your journey because you know you lived by your values and followed the path you consciously chose. The Stoics remind us that purpose is not just a luxury, but a fundamental necessity for a fulfilling life. Without it, life loses its shine. But when you find your purpose, everything changes. Difficulties become surmountable challenges, boredom gives way to excitement, and even the most routine days become important steps towards your mission. So the question you should ask yourself is, what is your purpose? If you haven't found it yet, the Stoics invite you to seek this answer urgently. Because without a purpose, true joy becomes unattainable. But when you discover it, every day makes more sense. You stop being a passive spectator and become the protagonist of your own story, moving with clarity and determination toward a life of meaning. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by situations that seemed uncontrollable? Those moments when everything goes wrong, and no matter how hard you fight, nothing seems to go the way you planned? The end of a relationship, an unexpected illness, the loss of a job. These events can shake even the most solid foundations. And in those moments, it's easy to feel like life is out of control, that everything is against you. This feeling of helplessness is painful, paralyzing, and can drag you into an abyss of despair. But what if I told you that true strength lies in accepting these difficulties, not fighting them? The Stoics, wise men who faced times of war, exile, and loss, understood something profoundly transformative. Accepting does not mean resigning. For them, acceptance was a powerful tool, a way of dealing with adversity without drowning in it. They knew that there are things in life that are beyond our control, what others do, what fate has in store for us, the course of external events. Resisting these things only brings us pain, pain that is often more intense than the event we are facing itself. But acceptance, on the other hand, frees us from this futile struggle and gives us the chance to focus our energies where we truly have power, on our response. Now, think about all the times you fought something that was uncontrollable. Maybe it was an illness you tried to deny, or a past mistake that you constantly relived, believing you could have done differently. How much time and energy did you waste on this fight? And what did this bring to your life, besides more frustration and suffering? When you try to control the uncontrollable, you are basically running into a concrete wall. The pain of the collision is inevitable, and the wall will never give way. But Stoic acceptance has nothing to do with giving up. It's not about throwing your hands up and letting life crush you. On the contrary, accepting what is beyond your control is an act of courage. It's a conscious recognition that there are things you can't change, but that doesn't weaken you. On the contrary, it strengthens you, because from that moment on, you redirect your energy to what really matters: your attitude, your actions, and the way you choose to face adversity. The Stoics teach us that true strength comes when we stop wasting energy fighting the inevitable and start working with what life gives us. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. It means facing them head-on, with clarity and serenity, accepting that some things are simply beyond our control. And in doing so, you make room for true freedom. By accepting difficulties as a natural part of life, you prepare yourself to face them with courage and resilience. Accepting is not giving up. It is, in fact, the opposite. It is preparation to fight better, to face challenges more effectively. Imagine a warrior who goes into battle knowing exactly what he is dealing with, without illusions or false hope. This warrior does not waste energy lamenting the enemy or wishing the battle was different. He focuses all his strength on what he can do at that moment. This is acceptance. And this is the key to regaining your joy, because by accepting difficulties, you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the protagonist of your own story. How many times, by resisting adversity, have you ended up making the burden heavier? Stoicism invites us to do something counterintuitive. Stop fighting what we can't change and instead focus on what we can control. This simple mental adjustment is liberating. By accepting that life is full of ups and downs, you prepare yourself emotionally to face any storm. You don't lose your joy because you know that difficulties don't define your happiness. What defines it is how you react to them. So, think about your own life. How many situations are you still trying to change that you can't actually control? How many internal conflicts do you carry simply because you can't accept what happened or what is happening? Imagine the peace you would feel if you could let go of the weight of these useless battles. This doesn't mean you're giving up, but that you're choosing to fight the right battles, the ones that really make a difference. Stoic acceptance does not make you weak. It gives you the clarity you need to focus on what really matters and prepares you to face any challenge with your head held high. When you accept what is out of your control, you regain your peace, your energy, and most importantly, your joy. And that is the true victory, the victory that no obstacle can take from you. You can get your joy back. And the most liberating truth is that it is not something distant or unattainable, but within your reach, here and now. It's in the way you decide to live in the present, how you choose to face each new day that arises. This may seem simple, but in reality, it's a choice many of us put off. We spend so much time worried about the future, with the pressure of expectations and uncertainty, that we forget to live in the moment that is in front of us. Imagine for a moment, how many times have you let yourself be carried away by routine, by automaticity, living as a spectator in your own life? The alarm clock goes off, you get up, go to work, face traffic, and at the end of the day you ask yourself, what did I really experience today? This lack of connection with the present is what steals our joy. Over time, this creates a distressing emptiness, as if life is passing you by, not with you. And this pain, this frustration, can become a constant companion, sapping your energy and disposition. But change starts with a simple choice: deciding to live differently. It's in the way you approach life, with gratitude, purpose, and acceptance, that joy reveals itself. Gratitude teaches us to value the small moments, those that often go unnoticed. Each day brings with it opportunities to see the world with different eyes, to recognize the beauty in small things, to be grateful for a hot coffee in the morning, for a friend's smile, or for the possibility of learning something new. This attentive look transforms our everyday experience into a rich tapestry of joy, even in adversity. And what about purpose? When you define a clear mission for your life, every action you take becomes a fundamental piece of that larger puzzle. It's like having a guiding star that lights your path, bringing meaning to even the simplest tasks. Without a purpose, life can seem like a game without rules, where you simply push through the days. But when you know where you're going, everything changes. Difficulties become steps towards your goal, and joy becomes a constant on your journey. And we can't forget about acceptance. Accepting life as it is, with its imperfections, its surprises and its challenges, is liberating. How many times have you found yourself stuck in an internal struggle against something you can't change? This constant struggle only creates suffering, while acceptance opens the door to inner peace. It doesn't mean resigning yourself or becoming apathetic, but finding the strength to move forward, even when the winds don't blow in your favor. It's a recognition that life is made up of ups and downs, and that true joy lies in how you react to each of these moments. Now, if you are ready to transform your life with these ancient lessons, I invite you to take the first step. Joy is closer than you think. It's time to pause and reflect on your choices. How are you living in the present? Are you making space for gratitude, purpose, and acceptance? If this video touched your heart, don't hesitate. Like, share, and comment. Let's go together on this journey of discovery and transformation. Joy is waiting for you, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until the next video.